back where we started. Let's see how we do. Hopefully Tesla fixed this V3 supercharger. 5, 6, okay, probably 7, 8 seconds. See the charging speed. 111, 130, 171, nice. We maxed it out. But yeah, we departed this morning at about a little after 4 a.m. with 100% state of charge, thanks to mom and dad. That 100% charge was free, which is pretty sweet. But the car wanted to route us to a charger in Washington that we did not stop at on the way here, but we were estimated to arrive with like 34% state of charge. Way too high, and also it was a V2. It was only 150 kilowatts, and we knew, on the way here, we supercharged here. We had a couple of issues with the charging stopping, but this is a V3 and we didn't charge it to 100%, so we knew it was possible to get from our parents' house to here with a full charge. So we just rerouted it and arrived here with an 11% state of charge. And I drove 70 miles per hour for most of the drive. The efficiency was a bit worse than before, but still more than 4 miles per kilowatt hour, which when you're going 70 miles per hour, that's plenty for me. Fully loaded car. We got all our stuff in the trunk and frunk and everything, and it's like 44 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, so I'm still impressed with the efficiency. I just hope that the supercharger actually works properly this time and it doesn't turn off after 10 minutes of charging. We'll see, but yeah, it's kind of stinky out here in Boardman, Oregon, but thanks to the amazing efficiency and range of the Model 3 rear-wheel drive, we were able to drive through Washington, through Idaho without stopping. So we still, to this day, have not supercharged in Washington or Idaho, just Oregon and California. That's it. Also happy to see those peak speeds of 170 kilowatts. That's how I want to show up to a supercharger. I still wish there was a setting that said, hey, I'm comfortable arriving with a state of charge below 10%. Like, I'm willing to take that risk, especially knowing how these things will keep going past 0% for quite a few miles. That makes me even more reckless and even more desiring of like wanting to show up at a supercharger at like 5%, 4%, because then you can maintain those peak speeds for longer. But definitely the weirdest thing about this car in the road trip with the cold, that I'm still not sure if it's a software bug or not, is that it will randomly start preconditioning the battery for fast charging like over 2 hours before we got here. Like, we just rolled out of my parents' place and it already started preconditioning the battery pack. We had 2.5 hours before the first supercharger stop, and then we rerouted. I don't know why it thought it needed to precondition that early, and then it turns off as you get closer. But as you can see, even when it's 40 degrees out, we were still able to hit 171 kilowatts. So I guess the preconditioning is good enough, but weird that it wants to go off that early. I'm tempted to check in with Tesla to see if there's anything wrong with it, but then I'm probably going to be without a car for a day, and if they do fix it, they're probably going to charge me for it. And ultimately, the car is still working fine. Like, it's moving, it's fast charging, it's getting good efficiency, so I'm not that concerned. And it seems like the car is giving us that battery temperature low warning again, but we're still getting like 136 kilowatts. Yeah, you're still getting 136 kilowatts at 30%, then I don't think you can be that upset. I mean, I don't expect 170 kilowatts to last that long, but we'll see if we have to stop at any new supercharger locations on the way back. But at least according to the navigation planner, the next 2 supercharging stops are actually going to be the same supercharging stops we took on the way here. I guess that makes sense. That sounds fair, but I was kind of curious to see if we were going to stop anywhere else. The 4th one is in California, and it's not Mount Shasta, so there might be one new supercharging location on the way back. No, it did it again. All right, I guess we officially have a busted charger. We got the red. It was about 12 minutes after plugging in. Green again. I wish there was an easy way to report this. Hopefully you stay going again. Luckily, it's an easy fix. It's not like the whole station is down, but still annoying for sure. And we're at 130 kilowatts again, so. This is our cursed supercharger, I guess. This one is just doomed to turn off after every 12 minutes. So, annoying, but not the end of the world, I guess. Something else we've learned after road tripping out here, don't trust the price of the charging session on the Tesla display. I don't know why it's inaccurate, but the charge we get on our credit card tends to be lower than the price that Tesla displays on that center display. I don't know if it's overestimating how long you're gonna be there or something's just a little bit off with it, but yeah, I was looking at the actual Tesla charges on our credit card and the price was lower than what Tesla says on the screen. Not just just at this location. At every location, it assumed it was worse than it was. Maybe that's just a bug with our car, just something we've noticed. But anywho, we're almost to 90%. It wanted us to charge pretty deep into this pack, and it's claiming that our next stop, we're gonna have to supercharge for over an hour, even though it's a V3 charger. I'm unsure why it thinks that. Maybe there's limited speeds at the V3 charger, but we'll find out what happens once we get there. I think it's time to unplug though. At least I only had to replug it once, and that was good. It's amazing how cool these cables feel, even when they've been pumping so much energy through them. All right, let's call it a day. Bye-bye. There needs to be an easier way to flag in either the app or on the car that a supercharger is acting up. This is not the same stall as last time, but it still had the same problem, which is weird. And we've returned to Madras once again. Panel gaps and all. Arriving at 12%. 1, 2, 5, 6 seconds once again. Speedy connection V3. Let's check out our speeds. So now it's saying only 40 minutes to go. I see 171. Okay, that's a good sign. It does not maintain that speed very long. It's only 171 for a couple seconds, and then it tapers its way back down. But yeah, I don't know why it thought we needed to charge here for an hour. Also, Google Maps sucks. It wanted us to take this huge roundabout way to go all the way back behind the grocery store and then come in this way, because it doesn't think that you can just turn left here, even though you can. There's like road markings for it and everything. So still want Apple Maps on the Tesla. That would be nice. But I've also just had a fear during the drive here that I realized, you know, the last 2 times we've supercharged, we're both at that Boardman, Oregon supercharger, but it shut off after 10 or 12 minutes of charging. I had this fear grow in my head. What if it's the car? What if something in our car is making it stop charging after 10 to 12 minutes? I guess this charger will test that theory, because if the car does stop after 10 to 12 minutes here, I'm going to start to wonder, is this really an issue with the supercharger, or is this an issue with our battery pack? So here's hoping it was an issue with just that Boardman, Oregon supercharger, and this Madras one will work more flawlessly. Fingers crossed. But it's also a lot warmer now. It's over 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so less likely that we're going to have an issue with the battery pack being too cold. And never mind, it still says battery temperature low, even with all that preconditioning. But we're still getting 143 kilowatts at 21%. So I guess this is its way of saying it could be faster, but hey, 600 miles an hour. Come on, like that's still pretty dang quick. Also, there was a lot of uphill on that last drive. Also a lot of wind, so we consumed a bit more than the trip projection, unfortunately. And yeah, it still kills me. Like a percent was consumed just by battery preconditioning, and yet it's still battery temperature too low. For the entire trip now, we are just starting to dip below 4 miles per kilowatt hour. Oh my God. I'm so embarrassed. I have a terrible carbon footprint. You're not a true environmentalist if you consume more than 4 miles per kilowatt hour. But here's hoping on the drive home we'll get more downhill and a lot more regen. But also on that last stretch between Boardman, Oregon and Madras, there's a huge stretch of road that is not whatever like a certified highway. So you can't set the autopilot speed more than 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. And there were some people commenting that just thought I didn't know how to set my autopilot speed. No, I may look stupid, but I'm not that stupid. No, you try to set the autopilot speed higher and it just says, nope, you can't do it. But what's crazy about that to me is you can still turn off autopilot, and with just cruise control, you can set it well over. Everyone else on the road's doing 70, 75. I'm out there going 60 because there's all these 55 speed limit signs. So they're clearly okay with the car, like using the cameras because it's adaptive cruise control to, you know, power the thing going 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. But yet just because of that speed limit sign and the fact that it's not an official highway, they don't let you do more than 5 over. Whereas once you're on the interstate or once you're on a more official freeway, that's when they don't care and they'll let you drive 20 miles per hour over the speed limit or 25, whatever you want to go, because you're still liable. You're still responsible for the car. What driver assist features you want to utilize on the trip, I feel like should just be up to you. So yeah, very confusing, but now I'm basically just hoping the car does not stop charging after 10 to 12 minutes, because if it does, that means we're gonna have a battery pack issue on our hands, which is not good. But hey, car's not that old, so it should all be covered under warranty. right. That's not within spec, is it, Tesla? But aside from that, I will say autopilot for the most part did a great job. I'm very relaxed and very comfortable. I also feel like I slept better the night before this trip compared to the night before our last trip, because I was just so excited, I guess, or so nervous that we were gonna have issues on the drive, and we didn't. But I only got like an hour of sleep on the drive to my parents. But last night I think I got 5 or 6 hours of sleep, so I just feel a lot more relaxed on this drive compared to the last one, which is good. Oh my gosh, almost 100%. I don't want to get idle fees, so I'm disconnecting. I've never charged that deep into the pack before. I don't know if there's a storm coming or something, but it wanted us to charge to 100%. We don't need to, but still weird. And we're back. Ooh, that's a clean looking Model Y. It's windy. I apologize for the audio. 12, 13, 14. Man, it's loud. Look at all that gas. We gotta film in here because it's way too loud out there. This is a V2 supercharger, so that's as fast as it's really gonna get. But not a line, although busy. There were 3 Model Ys here when I arrived. Looks like one with a bike on the back is just pulling in now. So I guess this is the supercharger to be at. But the good news is we didn't have any issues with charging past 10 to 12 minutes. So that reaffirms me that yes, it just was an issue with the Boardman, Oregon supercharger. It was not an issue anywhere else. So here's hoping we have another successful charge here. The weather's kind of been on and off, but we got a break of sunshine, which is perfect for me. I didn't have to get wet when plugging in the car. And ironically, back there, when we showed up, I think there was a line. There's a shortage of gasoline at the pump over there, and people were not able to get gasoline, but here we are charging. These people are eyeballing the bike rack since they have to kind of back into the stall. Perhaps I should have moved. I don't know. Would this have been better for them? Probably. I don't know if their cable will reach. I'll go and check and make sure. So the good news is they can reach their supercharger even with the bike rack attached, so good length on the cable. The bad news is, even though this is a pretty empty supercharger, they plugged in right next to me. So I'm pretty sure my charging speed was just cut in half simply because they wanted to charge there. I could move, or I could ask them to move, but we're all taking a restroom break here anyway, so we're not in kind of a immediate rush, and we're actually ahead of schedule. We're closer to home than we thought we'd be by this time of day, so I could move to get a little bit faster speed, but I'm not too worried about it. There's the long wait. People are honking at each other, getting in line for the gas here. So the moral of the story is the navigation is overly cautious. You can unplug before it says you can. We're headed out even though it says we need to charge longer. Look how far this is. Jeez. Okay. Oil changle. 1, 2, 5, 6. This cable looks horrible. Those ones are weird too. It says that 2D is out. Oh yeah, look at that. There's something on it. Some kind of handle or something. But they said that one's not working. Super wide stalls here. Like, this one's way wider than the others. But look how much space there is between the car and the cable. I don't know why they do that, but this is what I'm worried about when Aptera says that they can use the existing superchargers. I'm like, yeah, at some locations, but the cabinets are sometimes in different places. These are all just barely long enough to reach the charge port of the Tesla. What happens if they're in a weird position like these? You know, I could imagine these stalls are pretty wide, but Aptera pulls in here, you grab the cable, you try to get it to the back part of the Aptera, and that's as far as it reaches. So you might have to park like diagonally in there, but maybe they'll just have to flag certain superchargers as not compatible with the Aptera. I don't know. Maybe that could be a community run thing. Realizing now I should check on our charging speed. Finally back in California, greeted by a wall of smoke. Apparently there's controlled burns going on at Lake Shasta. Cabinet's loud, that's a good sign. It says 144 kilowatts. And this should be our last stop before home, so I'm probably gonna unplug early. I know we can charge at our destination. But I apologize if this trip was a bit redundant after the last one. If you don't want me to document my journeys back home, just feel free to let me know. I don't mind documenting it. I think it's kind of cool to report on the state of the chargers and see how they're doing and see what kind of dilemmas we run into and what kind of different layouts we find. Ooh, look at that Kia EV6 over there. He can't charge here because there is no magic dog. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate you all for watching, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. Have an excellent rest of your day.